SlamBall is still a relatively new phenomenon in the world of sport. It's obviously quite big in the States and it's making its way down to Australia. SlamBall director Adrian Giardina from SlamBall Australia joins me on the line now. Adrian, good morning.
Good morning, Chris.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Very well. Now, as there aren't any SlamBall courts in Australia at the moment, and there's still a lot of people who actually want to play because it is such a big phenomenon in the States. How long do you think it'll be until the first SlamBall facility is up and running, and what state do you think it'll actually be set up in?
Well, we have plans in place for the first SlamBall facility to be up and running before the end of this year. Most likely, Melbourne will be the first location, as it's the sporting capital of Australia. We feel that that Melbourne will be a good place for the birth of SlamBall.
That's what we love to hear. Now, I'd assume it'll be relatively expensive to set up a SlamBall court as well. How many facilities do you think that will open up a SlamBall facility in the near future?
Well, that's a hard question because it all depends on the growth of the sport. So we'd like to have a SlamBall facility open in every state, and we've set ourselves a realistic benchmark of about 30 SlamBall facilities to be launched throughout Australia. So I guess the more people that catch on to SlamBall in its earlier stages, the faster we can roll out SlamBall facilities and grow the sport on a commercial scale.
So what will be the process like? If it's relatively successful in Melbourne, for example, then you'll try, say, for example, Sydney, and then if that's successful, you just keep going on that way? Is that how it would work? Yeah,
basically. So we'll set up the first fully operational SlamBall facility, and then depending on the amount of interest and the amount of teams we can get running at that one facility, I guess we can judge the growth of how many facilities and what the demand is for SlamBall around Australia.
Let's just take a step back for one moment. For those lucky enough or unlucky enough never to have witnessed SlamBall on TV before, can you just give us a little bit of a rundown about what it actually is?
Yep, so SlamBall is a new sport that has elements of basketball, gymnastics and rugby all combined into the one game. There's 4 trampolines at each end of the court that allow players to take flight towards a basketball ring at heights as such as 15 to 17 feet in the air. It's full contact and it's very exciting to watch and play.
Do you think it helps or hinders the sport that a lot of people view it as somewhat of a gimmick? I know it's probably unwarranted, but in a way it's a lot like dodgeball. A lot of people know about it and a lot of people would love to play it, but it's retaining that interest that would be the problem. What do you think about that? Is it something that you think will be able to sustain prolonged interest?
Yeah, well, dodgeball, I think that's the first time I've ever heard SlamBall be compared to dodgeball. But,
well, just in the fact that a lot of people probably want to play just for the novelty of it rather than anything else, and then whether that novelty wears off is probably something that you won't know quite yet. But do you think it is something that you'll be able to keep people interested in as once it builds up as a sport?
Well, I think the fact is that when there's anything new, there's always going to be critics. But what I really love most about SlamBall is, like, I've played myself, and when you first see people get on the court, they automatically become hooked to the game. So SlamBall is very addictive in the way that people can be so creative on the court, and they constantly want to try new things and push themselves to new levels and get better. So I really don't believe that we'll have any trouble in keeping the sport alive. Once people get on the court and experience, I think players are always going to be chasing that adrenaline rush.
Are there national teams for SlamBall around the world? Is there a team, from the United States or from Canada or anything like that, or is there plans to have that in the future? So there's currently facilities up and running in China. There was a big one of the biggest SlamBall championships that ran in China last year. They had some of the American players fly down from China, and they integrated some of the Asian Chinese players into the American teams. So it was a big success in China last year, and there's actually a cult starting to develop around the world for SlamBall. We're actually having discussions with other countries in regards to organising some sort of SlamBall World Cup. So our plan is to open the first facility and develop one of the first elite SlamBall teams to represent Australia on an international level. And what would be the best way if someone wants to keep up to date with what's going on around SlamBall in Australia, and if eventually a facility is opened, what's the best way of people finding out about that and keeping up to date with the latest information?
Well, we've got a Facebook page, so you can like us on Facebook, and we've also got a website where people are signing up for SlamBall.
Yep.
So it's just pre-sign-ups, just to register your interest. So you can sign up for training, lessons, and all sorts of other activities that will be available at the facility. So if you want to go do that, you can sign up at SlamBallAustralia.com.au.
And the Facebook page is facebook.com/SlamBall Australia?
Correct.
Beautiful. Adrian, thank you so much for joining us, and best of luck with SlamBall, and hopefully we can get a big following in Australia, because I know I'd love to see it. I'm a big basketball fan, and I've seen a lot of it on ESPN and all that sort of stuff with SlamBall, so I'd love to see it come to Australia. I don't know how good I'd be as a player, but I'd be a spectacular supporter, so best of luck, and hopefully we can have a chat to you when this thing becomes huge.
All right, thanks for having me, Chris.
Thank you, mate.
Appreciate it.